Hello and welcome to the Bundesliga Lad YouTube channel. It's been a while in the works, but finally we've got this off the ground and I'm very excited for what could happen in the future, what happens with this channel. Hopefully we go far. I'm very excited to get this project started. Bundesliga content, zweite Bundesliga content, maybe diving into the Dritte Liga and the Regionalliga, and obviously the DFB Pokal, all going to be covered on this channel because it's a passion of mine and I've long waited to do something like this. So let us begin with the very first video on this channel, and it is going to be reacting to the Bundesliga schedule release. So here we are, in front of you, in front of me. We've got the Spielplan Bundesliga-Saison 2023-24, and the first game of the season will be at Weserstadion. SV Werder Bremen against FC Bayern München. Now, Bayern had to go away last season in their title defense when they picked apart Eintracht Frankfurt 6-1, and obviously that was deemed as a potential tough game because Eintracht had just won the Europa League, right? They literally just won it, so they could have been a potential threat. But Bayern took them apart pretty easily. Werder Bremen, they can be a tough outing for some teams. Obviously, they finished pretty comfortably in mid-table. Some thought they might struggle and go straight back down along with Schalke last season, but they held firm, got some good results, including that 3-2 insane victory against my team, Borussia Dortmund. Yeah, that one stings a little bit. But it happened, and Werder Bremen is still in the league, and they'll be hosting Bayern in the first game of the season. We're looking more at match day 1 right now, and as I said already, my team is Borussia Dortmund, and we've been given a home game against 1. FC Köln. Obviously, for those unaware, Dortmund and Köln fans have a Fanfreundschaft, a fan friendship. So that will be an interesting occasion. Two teams that like each other pretty well coming together to celebrate the opening match day of the Bundesliga season. Could be a good one. I'm happy Dortmund have got a home game to start with. Hoping to potentially go for the first game of the season, but we'll have to wait and see if that is a possibility. Elsewhere in match day 1, I think you're looking at that Bayer Leverkusen and RB Leipzig game. Obviously, you've got Xabi Alonso, who took the Leverkusen team all the way to the semi-finals of the Europa League before they ended up losing to Roma. And obviously, they went on a very, very good run. They were 18th or in the bottom 2 just before the World Cup. I remember Gerard Seoane got the sack, and then they hired Xabi Alonso, and he's taken them on this incredible rise up the table to back up into the Europa League places. And they're going to take on the defending DFB Pokal champions, back-to-back defending DFB Pokal champions, RB Leipzig. As much as you dislike them, they are a good football team. On the pitch, they are a very good team. Annoyingly, they're a very good team. And that one directly underneath Leverkusen and Leipzig. The very first match day, we've already got a Hessen derby. Eintracht Frankfurt against newly promoted SV Darmstadt 98. It's very bold from the DFL derby in the first match day. This could possibly be the first Topspiel match, the first game at 6:30 on a Saturday evening in German time. This could be that first Topspiel game because, I mean, a derby, first game back, and it's a derby. You can't really say no to that, can you? As a fan of either side and as the TV viewers, you'd like to see a heated derby in the Deutsche Bank Park. Look at the rest of the match day 1 games. nothing really standing out to me. Hoffenheim against Freiburg, possibly a battle of Baden-Württemberg, if that's even a thing down there. Union Berlin, Champions League side Union Berlin have a home game against Mainz 05. And then you've got Augsburg against Borussia Mönchengladbach, and Stuttgart against Bochum is your match day 1. Match day 2, we're looking at a potential derby match again in the second week of the Bundesliga season. Bayern against Augsburg. That is a Bavarian derby. However much either side cares about it, I don't think Bayern particularly care that much about Augsburg, but it is a rivalry in state, so there's obviously potential bragging rights there. Augsburg beat Bayern, remember, in the Hinrunde last season when they were the home team. They won 1-0 against the record champions, but this time they're going to be away in the Hinrunde to Bayern Munich, and I think they lost 5-3 last season when they played at the Allianz Arena. So it could be a tough day for Augsburg, but it's a derby match nonetheless. Maybe the players will be up for it. Another derby match, if you could call it that, is between Bochum and Dortmund. Now, I believe the name for the derby is the Kleines Revier, because obviously the main Revier derby is Schalke against Dortmund. Schalke no longer in the league, of course, but Bochum are here, so there's still that rivalry for Dortmund to have this season. I think Bochum fans care more about Dortmund than Dortmund fans care about Bochum in terms of that rivalry, the derby match. Yeah, it could be another sticky one for Dortmund. They drew with Bochum in the league last season away. I think many people will remember that one. The penalty that wasn't given on Karim Adeyemi. Sascha Stegemann, when I find you, I'm not going to do anything. Yeah, Dortmund against Bochum, derby match. Could be tensions there, but I mean it's just going to be an interesting game. Another one maybe to look out for is Gladbach against Leverkusen. Decently matched teams. Gladbach probably underperformed quite a lot last season. They have a point to prove, I think. New manager coming in. As of yet, I'm not quite sure who the new manager is. If they've appointed one or not. But no Daniel Farke at Gladbach, so we'll see. We'll see how that one goes. In we go to match day number 3, and Bayern's bogey team, Gladbach, are on the docket very early. Match day 3, you have Bayern going to Borussia Mönchengladbach at Borussia Park. Obviously, Bayern struggle at Borussia Park. I think they lost again last season. They lost or drew last season at Borussia Park, and at the Allianz Arena, Jan Sommer had a mental day. I think it was 19 saves he made in his man of the match performance. Bayern drew with Gladbach in the Allianz Arena. So there's a key game to look forward to. Heidenheim get their first big fish of the season as they have to go away to Dortmund, travel to das schönste Stadion der Welt, Westfalenstadion as it is. That's gonna be a good day for Heidenheim fans. It's obviously a long trip for them, but it could be worthwhile. I don't think Dortmund will have too many problems with Erste FC Heidenheim. But you never know in the Bundesliga. Dortmund can do a Dortmund, as they often do, annoyingly. We'll have to see. Match day number 4, Bayern against Leverkusen. Again, could be a tight one. Could be very interesting. But at the end of the day, it's just it seems like a foregone conclusion every time the fixtures are drawn that Bayern are going to win the league. Hopefully we have something different. Hopefully my boys Borussia Dortmund do something this season and win The transfer market activity is slightly concerning. Pulled out of the Edson Alvarez deal, but hopefully there's a plan in place from Edin Terzic and co. Moving on. Match day number 5, Fanfreundschaft game between Bayern and Bochum. Both sets of fans are good friends with each other. I think 2019 they celebrated their 50th anniversary of a fan friendship between Bayern and Bochum. So that'll be a good occasion for those sets of fans. Skimming through, match day number 6 is where we get the first big clash out of last year's top 3 teams. This is the first major clash of the season. Leipzig against Bayern. Defending DFB Pokal Sieger against the defending Bundesliga champions. Obviously, they're going to play the Super Cup. The Super Cup, sorry. I don't know why I put a German accent on that one. Obviously, they're going to play the Super Cup in the first week, or the second week of August, sorry. But it's DFB Pokal first round weekend, that is. 12th of August, Leipzig will go to the Allianz Arena to play the Super Cup. Who knows what will happen there? Maybe Marco Rose gets some more silverware as Leipzig manager. But the first real league test for Bayern will be away to Leipzig. Because obviously Leipzig won 3-1 at the Allianz Arena, which kept Dortmund's title hopes alive. And it really propelled them to be in pole position for that title. But obviously, we all know what happened. And I don't want to talk about it. But it's going to be a massive game. That'll definitely be the top spiel for match day number 6. Sure. For there's without a doubt, that'll be the biggest game of the week. Heidenheim get to host a Champions League team in Union Berlin. They get to host a team Champions League. It's quite mad to think that both of these teams are in the Bundesliga, let alone one's in the Champions League. But apart from that, your headline is Leipzig and Bayern. Match day number 7, and we've got another derby match. Bayer Leverkusen against 1. FC Köln. Bayer Leverkusen fans, this is their big derby of the season. Their Köln derby fans against Gladbach coming up later in the season. But it's like that Dortmund-Bochum rivalry for Köln fans. They're not really that bothered by Leverkusen, but it's still a rivalry. Leverkusen is closer than Mönchengladbach is, so there is that sort of similarity there between the Dortmund-Bochum, Dortmund-Schalke rivalry. Match day number 8 after another international break. Match day number 8. As I was saying it earlier, that a derby is coming up. Köln have got back-to-back derbies, because then after the international break, for the friendly match, as it says here, between USA and Germany, Köln host Gladbach in their Rhein derby for the season. Now this is a fierce rivalry. I watched Fiago's video about going to Der Klassiker and then going to Rhein derby between Köln and Gladbach, and the atmosphere for Köln-Gladbach is ridiculous. Like the local derby is so much better than any Klassiker game. But yeah, that derby match is going to be quite the fan show, if you will. They're going to have a good time with it, with the pyro, with the choreo, with the tifos. It's gonna go hard. Match day number 9. What Frankfurt have we got against Dortmund? That could be a interesting game. Frankfurt and Dortmund. There was a bit of controversy the last time that Dortmund went away to Eintracht Frankfurt. Karim Adeyemi push on Lindström as he was about to shoot. The penalty wasn't given. Frankfurt fans livid. Adeyemi made a slight comment. I can't quite remember it, but it got picked up by Frankfurt fans and they weren't too happy with it. So that could be a game with a bit of bad blood in it. Who knows? But it will be a close game for sure. Bayern have got Darmstadt at home. relatively straightforward, you'd think. And apart from that, another Baden-Württemberg derby, if you can even call it that. The two teams, Stuttgart and Hoffenheim, are from Baden-Württemberg, so there is the pride for the state, I guess. Then we move on to match day number 10. 3rd to the 5th of November, Borussia Dortmund against Bayern Munich. Once again, der Klassiker in the Hinrunde is at the Westfalenstadion. It's a bit annoying. I would have much rather have had the game at the Allianz first than the game at the Westfalenstadion, but it is what it is at the end of the day. Dortmund against Bayern, it's always a classic, especially at Signal in... Oh, no, not Signal Iduna Park. The Westfalenstadion. I had to correct myself there. It is always a great game. Obviously, you remember the 2-2. Anthony Modest, 90 plus 5. Just Dortmund explodiert. Just plays back in my mind. I think that could have been a title-winning goal. Oh, what could have been? But obviously, yeah, this is slam dunk, Topspiel, no questions asked. This will be 100%. 4th of November, 6:30 German time. Dortmund against Bayern. Simple as. For match day 12, where we Dortmund against Gladbach. This is like it's not a derby. First and foremost, it is not a derby. Borussia Dortmund against Borussia Mönchengladbach is not a derby. Borussia is not a city, which many people on Twitter seem to get confused with. It is not a city, and these two are not derby rivals. There might be league rivals in the sense that they've both competed at high levels for similar amounts of time, but there is no derby between these two teams. Just to clear that up, there is no derby between Dortmund and Gladbach. They just share the same pre-name of Borussia, but that's it. That's like saying 1. FC Köln and 1. FC Union Berlin are rivals because they both have 1. FC. Come on now. No. Just no. I don't know why I went into a bit of a rant with that one, but clear that up. Dortmund, Gladbach, not rivals. Although that could be a very interesting game. That could also be a Topspiel game. I think both Dortmund-Gladbach games last season were Topspiel games. The 4-2 at Borussia Park was definitely a Topspiel, I remember. And then was it 6-1? 6-1 in the end? Rückspiel at the Westfalenstadion for Dortmund. That was also a Topspiel. So possibilities high that could be another Topspiel game. And then Bayern go away to Köln. Good memories for them, of course. Musiala dagger hits deep in that 89th minute. Yeah, Bayern will have good memories going there. Köln will try and upset them again. Maybe this could be a pivotal game for the title race. Who knows? Match day number 13. Bayer Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund scream out to me. Obviously, as a Dortmund fan, that's going to scream out fairly frequently that I see Dortmund against a good team. Could be another Topspiel game. Bayern against Union Berlin. Union can cause trouble, especially when they're playing at home. But when they're away, they can cause trouble. Obviously, they caused Dortmund a bit of trouble. Only won 2-1 at the Westfalenstadion. But they could go to the Allianz, maybe cause an upset, but I don't think so with this Bayern team and with the rumours that they're going to get Harry Kane. They've already got Kim Min-jae on the book. Yeah, it's could be worrying. And then if we go into match day 14, there's the trio from last season: Dortmund, Bayern, Leipzig. Dortmund against Leipzig, match day number 14. This could be a Topspiel. This could be the Friday night game. I can't imagine this will be a game on Sunday. I think this will just be a standalone game, either the Friday night or the Saturday night. It was the Friday night the second half of the season when Dortmund beat Leipzig at the Westfalenstadion, but when it was in the Hinrunde, when Leipzig were hosting Dortmund, that was a Saturday 3:30 kickoff, which was interesting. But we shall see if that will be a Topspiel. It's definitely a candidate for Topspiel game. Frankfurt against Bayern is also another candidate for the Topspiel. I mean, it could be. It could be. I mean, Frankfurt are a decent team. Bayern obviously are Bayern. That could be a candidate for the Topspiel. Then we've got 2 more match days before the winter break. Match day 15, match day 16 before the winter break. And in match day 15, I'm not picking out any derby matches that I can see. But Augsburg against Dortmund, the game before the final game of the season was obviously Augsburg away. For Dortmund fans, they won 3-0 in the end, which propelled us to top of the league, 2 points clear of Bayern. We know what happened. We will know what happened next, and I'm already seeing match day 16, and I don't like the opponent already. The bad memories are kicking in again. But yeah, Augsburg against Dortmund should be straightforward for Dortmund. I would imagine so anyway. Leverkusen against Frankfurt, again, could be an interesting game. Then you've got the Battle of the Plastics, of course. El Plastico, Der Plastiker, if you want to call it that. Leipzig against Hoffenheim. That will be one of the more highly attended games, I would imagine, at the Red Bull Arena. Yeah, there we are. That's match day 15. I am so bad at this. Egal. Scheiß egal. And then match day 16, the final match day before the winter break. Dortmund at home against Mainz. After being away to Augsburg. This sounds awfully familiar. Yeah, well, bad memories from that one. Don't want to be fondly reminded of that moment. But Dortmund against Mainz, hopefully revenge will be on the cards. Hopefully we are miles clear of Bayern at that point. Bayern will be away to Wolfsburg on the penultimate match day. This is going to be a midweek game. If I'm looking at these dates right, this will be midweek games. This is the only midweek games in the Hinrunde. Interesting. We finished the Hinrunde on a, well, not the Hinrunde, but just before the winter break. We end in midweek, which is interesting. The final games before the winter break, midweek: Dortmund at home to Mainz, Bayern away to Wolfsburg, Frankfurt against Gladbach. That could be another interesting one. And that's about it. Match day 17 will be the final game of the Hinrunde. Bayern have got Hoffenheim at home. Leipzig at home to Frankfurt. Another interesting game there. Freiburg against Union Berlin. That was a battle in the top 4 last season. Obviously, Freiburg ended up finishing outside it. Union stayed in it. But that could be another interesting clash between those two sides. Dortmund are going to go away to Darmstadt for the final game of the Hinrunde, which could be interesting. Newly promoted side away from home. Get that done as early as possible, but it's the last possible opportunity to get it done before the start of the Rückrunde. See if Dortmund can do anything out there. Köln are hosting Heidenheim for the final game of the Hinrunde. Nothing else standing out to me, but that is the end of the Hinrunde. Not going to go into the Rückrunde because it is just the Hinrunde, but in reverse. So everyone who was home for all those games in the Hinrunde will be away. Yeah, there is the Bundesliga Saison 2023-24. Bundesliga, it's coming back. 18th of August, Friday night. Werder Bremen against Bayern. Obviously, before that, you've got the Super Cup on the 12th of August. And in amongst that Super Cup, you've got the first round of the DFB Pokal. Bundesliga videos will be coming, hopefully, on a weekly basis for the Bundesliga Lad YouTube channel. I've got lots of ideas written down, plenty of things that I can explore. Hopefully, we can get some input from you guys, of course. I took some ideas on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. The link is in the description. Subscribe while you're down there. Like, leave a comment, do everything down there. Push the Bundesliga Lad up through the YouTube algorithm. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. This has been the Bundesliga Lad, and I will be signing off. I still haven't got an intro, still haven't got an outro. Yeah, this is the Bundesliga Lad saying thank you for watching. Have a good one.